Greetings, in this video we'll be looking at fillable forms using Microsoft Word 2007. If you are new to this channel, you should subscribe so you do not miss any new videos. Also, if this video was beneficial, please like and share. Thanks. So, without further delay, let's begin. Now, what exactly is a fillable form? Basically, this is a document others can fill out with ease by entering information within a content control, or otherwise called a field. Alright? For this tutorial, we'll be using Microsoft Word 2007. However, the concept you will learn here is the same for other versions of Microsoft Word. So whether you're using Microsoft Word 2010, 365, it doesn't matter. The concept remains the same, right? Now, one key thing to remember is that when you're using Microsoft Word to create a fillable form, you must use what we call the developer tab. Right now, by default, the developer tab is disabled, so you will have to go into the advanced option and enable it, and I'm going to show you how to do that using Microsoft Word 2007. The concept will technically be the same. It might be a little bit different in how you get to enabling the option, but the concept remains the same. Now let's jump right into it. Once you have a blank document that you're going to use to create your fillable form, right, one of the first thing that you must check is to make sure that the developer option is enabled. If you look at the tabs up here on the ribbon, you realize that I have home, insert, page layout, reference, mailings, review, view, and an extra one that might not be on yours, but you do not see any developer tab. It means that it is disabled, so I will have to go in and enable it. So what I will do is click on the office button, right, which is this one, and again I'm using Microsoft Word 2007. So you're going to click on the office button here, and you're going to go down to the Word options, which is this. So you're going to click on it. Then you're going to make sure that you're on the popular tab, and you're going to look for the option that says show developer tab in the ribbon, which is this one. I'm going to select it. So you see there's a little sticky beside it. Then I'm going to click on the OK down here, right? So once I click OK, it will take me back to the Word document that I'm working in, and you should see now that there is actually a developer tab on the ribbon up here. You see? So click on it one time. Now the key thing that you need to know is that when you're in the developer tab, the ribbon, the specific box that are or in other words, the options that you're going to use the most is located in what we call a controls group box. So it's this little box right here. We call it a controls group box. Now what you can also do is put your cursor over each little icon to see what the field is or the icon is and what exactly it does. So for instance, if I put it over this little A here, this one is called a text. It inserts a plain text control content control, sorry. If I put it over this one, it says this one is a rich text, and it insert a rich text content control. Now there are additional tools that you can use, right? All you have to do is go down to this little folder icon that with the hammer and the wrench beside it, which is this one, right, the legacy tools control, and you're going to click on it once, and it basically gives you additional content controls or fields that you can use in your fillable form, right? So these are the legacy forms controls. Basically what they're saying is that these fields were there in the older versions, and then you have the ActiveX control. These are the newer fields, right? So let's show you how to insert a content control in your document. Now let's say you're creating a form and you want the person filling out your form to be able to enter their first name and last name, just a simple form. What you would do, you would want a label which identify or alert the user or the person filling out your form to know what exactly that content control is all about. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's say you want the person filling out your form to enter their first name. You will probably have a label that is called first name, right? Wherever your cursor is blinking, that is where your form control will go when you insert it. So my cursor is blinking right after first name at this point in time. As I've said before, you can put it at the bottom, you can put it here, it doesn't matter where you put it. Basically it depends on your design, right? Then I'm going to go to make sure that you're on the developer tab. I'm going to then go to the control group box, and I'm going to click the legacy tools icon, which is this one here. I'm going to click on it once, and I'm going to go down to ActiveX controls. I'm going to put my cursor over the icon just to remind me of what the icon is. So when I put it over this one, it says that it's a text box. That's the one I want, right? So I'm going to click it once. You should realize that a text box was inserted in your document, right? If you click out just for a second, you should realize that the text box is here, right? If you click on the text box once, you basically sees where it has some little square boxes around it. What this is saying is that at this point in time you can edit or adjust the width and size, or the width and height of your text box. For instance, I could make my text box a little bit longer by basically clicking on this middle square box here and stretching it out, or bringing it in a little bit. If I want my text box to be a little bit higher or low, then I can basically use this one here and bring it up a little bit, or use this one here and bring it down a little bit. So you have control in terms of how your text box or your controls will look, right? Now let's say I want to insert the surname into this form. So I have a label that identifies which control the user will be filling out, right? Go back to my controls group box. I'm going to click on the legacy tools, and I'm going to click on the text box icon, and I'm going to insert a text box right here. One more thing that I want to show you is that sometime when you're creating a form and you adjust one of the content control or fields the way you want it, you might want other fields to look similar, and you don't want to basically be going through and dragging and stretching to try and fit the size. What you can actually do is look at the size of the field that you edited to your liking, and then copy and paste the size to the new field. Let me show you what I'm talking. So for instance, this first name control content right here, if you click on it once and click on properties, right, it basically pops up a screen looking like this. So if you go down and look at height, it tells you that the height of this text box or control is 22.65, and the width should be somewhere down here. The width is 138. So let's say you want the surname content control to be similar to the first name content control, then right off the bat you know that the width is 138 and the height is 22.65. So what you can basically do is click on the content control for the surname, right click it, go to properties, look for the height and change it to 22.65, and for the width, I think the width was 130. I don't remember, let me check. So I'm gonna right click on the first name again, properties, 138. Okay, all right. So on the surname you can just right click and you will change this to 138 and click out. So you would realize now that the width and the height of this control and this control is the same. So this is one thing that you can do to make your design a little bit more aesthetic, make it look better, you know. Now there's one more thing I want to show you in terms of designing your form. You can actually use a table to assist you in designing your form. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I want to create a form, right, that allows the person filling out my form to enter the first name, the surname, the age, the date of birth, the gender, and the gender is going to be male or female. So what I can do is actually use a table to help me in formatting, or help me to format the form the way I want it to be. So let me show you an example of how creative you can be using table. I'm going to insert a table with 4 columns and probably four rows. If I need more, I will insert as I go along. So in this cell here, I'm going to type first name, right, because I want the user to enter their first name, right. Here I'm gonna type my surname. I'm gonna type age here just to show you how creative you can be. I'm gonna type date of birth here, and I'm going to type gender here, right, and I'm going to insert a new row at the top of this one, right, above, and I'm going to merge these two cells, right, by highlighting these two cells, and I'm going to merge these cells, and I'm gonna call this part personal details, right. Now let me show you how creative it can be. So here, all right, here is where the first name content control or field is gonna be. Here is where the age is gonna be, or the age content control, the gender content controls, the surname controls, and the database content controls. So I'm gonna put my cursor right here, and I'm going to go to the developer mode. I'm then going to go to the controls group box, and I'm going to click on the legacy tools icon, and I'm going to insert a little text box right here. Then I'm going to set this, or structure this the way I want it to be, you know, just like I'd show you before, right? Basically using these little squares around it. Once I get it the way I want, okay, I want it to be like this, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to insert the surname content control or field. So I want a text box. Now I want the surname content control to be similar to this rather than adjusting it manually like this. Because I did one already, I can basically look at the values for the first name content control and replicate it for the surname content control. And to do that, I'm going to right click on the first name content control and I'm going to go to properties and I'm going to look at the height, and the height is 22.65 and the width here is 136. So 22.65 and 136. Alright, so if I go back out here and I click on the surname content control, right click on it, go to properties, go to the height, right, 22.65, go down to the width, which is 126, I think. Alright, let me just double check to make sure it's 126. Oh, it's 136. Alright, so let's go back over here and change it to 136. Right, good. So I can insert a content control for the age now. So I'm doing the same thing. Go back to legacy tools, go down to text box, insert a text box. I want it to be just like the first name and the surname content control, you know, for it to be a little bit more aesthetic. You don't have to do it, right? But for me personally, I want it to be done like this. So I'm going to right click on this, properties, I'm gonna set the height, which is 22.65, just like the first name content control and the surname content control. I'm going to go to the width and I'm going to change it to 136, and I'm going to close that. Same thing here, and I'm going to do the same thing for date of birth. All right. 136. Now for the gender, I'm going to use a checkbox. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to insert my checkbox. Beside the checkbox, I'm going to type male, and I'm going to insert another one. Female. Now look at this. What I can actually do now is basically make the lines or the borders around the table invisible, right? So the table will actually look well structured, but you will not be seeing the lines or the borders around the table. So let me show you. So what I can do is click on this little icon right here, right, and then I'm going to go to the home tab and I'm going to go over to the paragraph group box and I'm going to look for this little icon right here, this one here, and I'm going to click on it right here and I'm going to click on no border. Right, so if you look now, all the border has been removed from my form, but it's very neat, right? And what I can do, I can actually even be more creative, where I can say, okay, I can click on it again and let's say I want the bottom border and I want the top border. Where is it? The top border, and I also want the left border and the right border, right? So you see, very structured form. Let's say I want to separate the first name, age and gender from the surname and date of birth. All I have to do is highlight there and probably put in the left border, right? So you see, creative. Let's say I do not want any border here. I go back here and click on no border. Right, just to show you how creative you can be. Let's say I want to center this so it looks like that. Let's say I want to change the background of the form. What I can do is basically click on this little icon here once, and then I'm going to go to design and I'm going to go to shading, and I'm practically just going to look for a color that I like, right? And I'm going to, let me see, I like blue, so let me try the blue one. Blue, so try that one, right? and click out. Now look how professional my form is, right? Very professional, right? So you can basically use a table to help you in your design. If I want to move all the content in this form, all I have to do is just, once I move the table, because it's a table, all the contents is carried with it. Now the final thing that I want to show you is basically how to make your form available for persons to fill it out or to complete it and submit it to you. Now I'm gonna save my form, right? I'm gonna save it in document, to the developer tab, right? Then you're gonna go to the protect group box, which is this group box here. You're gonna click on protect document. Then you're going to go down to restrict formatting and editing, which is this little option here, our menu. You're going to click on it. It's going to pop up a new little side window or bar window. You're going to click on limit formatting to a selection of styles, right? And you're going to click on allow only this type of editing in the document, right? Then you're going to go to this drop down box here and you're going to select fill in forms, right? Then you're going to, if let me tell you, on some of your machines, once you click filling in forms, basically at step number 3, this little yes start enforcing protection will be highlighted. But on some machines that has not enabled macro, there's a thing called macro that has not enabled macro by default, then you might not see it enabled and highlighted. Might be gray out like how it is right now. So you might want to know enable macro, right? So let me show you how to do that. I'm gonna save. I'm going to uncheck design mode. Once I uncheck design mode, you realize that the little button or this little button here is now enabled. It's not grayed out anymore. If I select design mode once, you realize it's grayed out. So if I select design mode here again, it's now selectable, right? So I can select it. So I'm going to click on yes, start enforcing protection. A window will pop up and ask me for a password. Password does is restrict persons from editing your form. So only the persons with the password will be able to edit your form. However, persons will be able to complete your form, meaning they will be able to enter the first name, the last name, the age, etc., whatever fields you have on your form, but they will not be able to tamper or change the structure of your form. So I'm going to enter a password here and I'm going to re-enter the password and I'm going to click OK. And I can now close it to this little window here. So at this point in time, my document or my form is now fillable, right? If you realize I cannot make any changes anymore. If I try to delete personal details here, it's not allowing me to. If I try to click anywhere in the document, it's not allowing me to. It's only, I am now only able to click in the control fields or content control boxes. But I can fill it out or I can complete it and I can save it and I can submit it, right? Now let's say you want to make changes to your form, right? All you have to do is go back to your developer mode, go to protect document, go to restrict formatting and editing, go down here and click on stop protection and enter the password that is used to restrict this document. So in this case I'm going to enter the password and I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to close this and you should now realize that I am now able to make changes in the document. Alright, cool.